Remembering the dead not only during these special days accorded to it, especially of those who perished in such a tragic event, speaks volumes of how closely knit Filipino society is. Something President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. wants us all to do and continue doing for as long as we are on this good earth, as he led the commemoration of the 10th anniversary of the onslaught of Super Typhoon Yolanda. Alan Francisco tells us more.
Don't forget the victims of Super Typhoon Yolanda, especially those who perish and those whose remains have not yet been found. This is the call of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to the people of Tacloban as he led the 10th year commemoration anniversary of Typhoon Yolanda today.
So even if that is the case, let them not be unremembered. So when we grieve and when we mourn for our dead, keep a special place in your heart for those who have not been known to have gone. But we know in our hearts, we know the loss that we feel. Let us always pray for them.
The President offered flowers to the departed and also heard Mass at the Tacloban Convention Center. Accompanying the President were House Speaker Martin Romualdez, Tacloban Mayor Alfred Romualdez, DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos, DNR Chief Tony Yulo Loizaga, Senators Francis Tolentino and Mark Villar, among others. In his speech, President Marcos also saluted the courage and resilience of Yolanda survivors.
Indeed, what we saw back then was the spirit of Bayanihan in its truest form, moving without prompting, without hindrance, and without ceasing. And much to our surprise, we saw that Filipino Bayanihan spirit coming from our friends from all other lands.
The President also recognized the local and international non-governmental organizations and acknowledged the countries that helped in the recovery of Tacloban City. He was then a senator and one of those who first extended assistance to the disaster-affected people.
Mr. President, thank you so much indeed. You honor us with your presence, but we will always remember your service, your kindness, your compassion and generosity during those days after Yolanda.
The President also called on the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development and the NHA to speed up the completion of housing units and distribution of land titles to beneficiaries. He also led the awarding of certificates to NHA housing beneficiaries. The President also recognized Tacloban's disaster risk reduction and management efforts earlier today. Simultaneously, he called for the inclusion of climate change in national policies. In fact, according to the President, the government will continue to build disaster-resilient evacuation and emergency operation centers, among others.
We must make sure that we apply our knowledge on climate change to every plan, to every decision and initiative, so we can build stronger and more resilient communities.
President Marcos also emphasized new technologies such as GeoRisk PH and PlantSmart are crucial in saving lives. In conjunction to this, the President also led the launch of Handa Pilipinas by the DOST in Tacloban today to demonstrate the government's disaster risk reduction and management initiatives.
So I implore everyone to maximize the use of these technologies to fast-track the widespread adoption and commercialization.
Alan Francisco, for the Nation, Tacloban City.